I'm Jane Ockenhauer, and this is The Near Death of a Giant Mouse, my speech for a class. Michael Eisner is considered to be a great businessman. He led the House of Mouse from great into greatness, in what we know it as today. He started in TV and with Paramount Studios, and was the fifth CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and the first outsider to take that position. He took the company away from the Dark Ages after Walt Disney's death in 1966, and he took in those I don't know the number of years, but he took power in 1984. Eisner's growth grew the company into what we now know it as today. He expanded their TV market with the purchase of ABC and ESPN networks, and he also created cartoons and more children programming, some of which used original characters, such as the Gummy Bears and Gargoyles, some of which used pre-existing characters within the Disney canon, such as Goofy, Scrooge McDuck from comic strips, and other characters from movies. For example, some of those shows would be Tailspin, DuckTales, The Goof Troop, I can't think of Little Mermaid the series, Hercules the series, Aladdin the series, just to name off a few. He would also purchase the Muppets from the Jim Henson Company, and he would also go on to purchase another children's program for the Muppets called A Bear in the Big Blue House, and they would expand the TV. He also expanded the Disney experience from the parks. He would create Disney Cruise Line, Disney on Broadway, Disney stores, and international parks. Such as international parks would be Disneyland Paris at the time, Euro Disney, Disneyland Shanghai was most recently, Disney Tokyo, Disney, and Disneyland Hong Kong. He would go on to create Disney on Broadway starting in 1994, Beauty and the Beast, and then Lion King, and then in Germany, Hunchback of Notre Dame on stage. That's a stage show. Look it up. It's great. He would create a Disney Cruise Line. He would expand pre-existing parks into things such as he would add California Adventure here in Disneyland. He would add Animal Kingdom in the Florida park or Walt Disney World. These weren't his greatest achievement that he did while he was in power. His greatest achievement would come when he brought on someone he was working with at Paramount, Jeffrey Katzenberg, to head the animation department. There, at the animation department, they would now start the Disney Renaissance, where they had been fighting with former Disney animated Don Bluth to create movies, and they would go on to create Disney musicals, starting with Oliver and Company, which was their prototype for these Renaissance films. Jeff Eisner and Katzenberg weren't the only ones to attribute this success. They brought in Broadway writers such as Howard Ashman. I don't have a film Howard Ashman worked on up here right now. And Alan Menken, Stephen Schwartz, and Tim Rice. Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz would go on to write the music for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Tim Rice would work with... Is it down here? Yeah, it's down here. Would work with Elton John and Hans Zimmer to write the music for The Lion King. This is The Lion King. The Lion King, and Alan Menken and another one whose name I forgot because he isn't as important, would go on to write the music for Hercules. And Menken would also work with some people to write the music for Aladdin, and they would use directors such as Ron Clements and John Musker, who worked on Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid with Menken and Howard Ashman at the same time. What they did was they created a formula of I'm going to use one that's somewhere, of a Broadway musical, and they would use that to tell their story. And Ashman, before his death, even stated that it's easier to tell the stories that he wants to tell in musical theater with animation because you're already seeing these things that shouldn't be seen to do it. Eisner's downfall was quick and massive. In the mid-90s, there was a massive exit of Jeffrey Katzenberg because Katzenberg wanted Eisner's position. Eisner was fearful, and Roy E. Disney told Eisner that he would be ejected if Katzenberg rose above his position. So there was a massive exit. Katzenberg left to go create DreamWorks. That's a whole nother story. And then the board of directors also thought that some of Eisner's later decisions weren't as best as they thought it would be, including California Adventure. They didn't want to make that. They wanted to make another park they wanted to make Disney Sea in Long Beach, not another park there in Anaheim. By 2000, there was a Save Disney campaign, and the next 5 years of Eisner's, the company would be facing turmoil. Their live-action movies, such as Pirates of the Caribbean and The Princess Diaries, would do exceedingly well, while their animation department would suffer. Who remembers this movie? This was one of their few animated movies to not be a box office failure. By 2005, the board of directors wanted Eisenberg out. Not Eisner. Eisenberg. Wanted Michael Eisner out. In September of that year, he stepped down and Bob Iger. I don't remember what department Bob Iger is, so don't ask me. Bob Iger stepped up and took his place. Michael Eisner made the company into what we know it is. He started as an outsider who had to come and save this company that had no promise and made it into what we now know it as today, and his exit was chaotic, to say the least. Thank you. That has been my speech, and I've been